Kevin Kline in daytime television in Soapdish. The road to true love is bumpy for John Candy and Ali Sheedy in Only the Lonely. And Bruce Willis stars as a fast-talking burglar called Hudson Hawk. It's all coming up next on Siskel and Ebert.
Comes back from Vienna, I fall in love with him, and Montana turns out to be my daughter. How in the name of God is that possible?
All right, well, we haven't figured that out yet, but you know, it's a dark secret that's been torturing you for years.
Sally Field is the queen of daytime television in Soapdish, a soap opera about a soap opera. We'll be reviewing it this week on Siskel and Ebert, along with a look at this year's Cannes Film Festival and an answer to the question, what happened to Hudson Hawk? I'm Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times.
And I'm Gene Siskel of the Chicago Tribune. And our first film is the soap opera comedy Soapdish, a film that ranges wildly from very funny to routine, telling the story of soap opera actors who live off-camera lives not that different from their on-camera characters. The soap opera in the movie is called The Sun Also Sets, featuring the usual assortment of doctors and studs and tormented wives. Sally Field stars.
This is not the time. I must think of the poor deaf girl upstairs. Good evening. I'm Dr. Monica DeMonico, the neurosurgeon assigned to this case. You must be Dr. Rod Randall. It's so good of you to come on such short notice.
The girl is going to be fine. I trained in Europe.
Really?
Yeah.
Maggie, I know we've had our differences in the past,
Maggie, I came as soon as I heard. I was at the gym doing leg lifts when Father Corey told me about your experience at the soup kitchen.
The off-camera drama begins as the show's ratings sag, and the nervous producer Robert Downey Jr. decides to bring back a dead character, 20 years dead. Head writer Whoopi Goldberg objects.
The guy was decapitated. I looked it up. He was on his way to the Yukon in a pink convertible to see his brother, who's an ex-con named Francis, when a tractor-trailer came along and decapitated him. You know what that means. It means he doesn't have a head. How am I supposed to write for a guy that doesn't have a head? He's got no lips, no vocal cords. What do you want me to do?
They froze the head.
That character is played by Kevin Kline, who is an old flame of Sally Field's, and when he's back on the show after playing dinner theater in Florida, their personal battles begin anew.
Oh, you're just trying to get rid of me, but it's not going to work.
I'm not going back to Florida, nohow. You try playing Willie Loman in front of a bunch of old farts eating meatloaf, chewing and slurping and spitting out their pits every night, listening to them coughing and hacking and wrenching. I was in hell.
Another running conflict on the show is between the producer and a seemingly hot-to-trot actress, Kathy Moriarty, who wants him to get rid of Sally Field.
Make Maggie a murderess.
Oh, a death.
Yes, it'll turn the country against her.
It can't be one of the regulars.
Not even Bolt?
No, Bolt. Bolt's gold, especially with the whole impotency thing coming up. One of the extras, or I don't know.
One of the extras. One of the homeless, David. One of the homeless.
That's cruel.
Oh, it's very cruel. You do want me, don't you, David?
In the weirdest way.
They're funny together. While I was watching Soapdish, I laughed enough to recommend the film, especially at Kevin Kline's character and at the character of the network executive in charge of the show, played by Gary Marshall, who is just naturally funny every time he's on screen. But I also sat there realizing that soap operas are a very easy target, that they were well spoofed in Tootsie 2. This Soapdish could use a little tightening, but it's a funny movie nonetheless.
I liked it too. I agree that it's not a perfect movie, but it's certainly so much funnier than any other movie I've seen in a long time that I'd recommend it. And one of my tests for a comedy is there at least one scene in it where I really lose it, where I really start laughing?
The teleprompter?
No, the teleprompter was funny. How about the scene at the dinner theater in Florida?
The dinner theater is very funny.
He's acting in Death of a Salesman, while meantime helping to serve coffee to the people in the front row.
And also the old customers in the audience,
Right.
and they can't hear him, so he has to shout, and then they think he's shouting too much. Yes, that's a very funny
movie.
That's a funny.
Okay, now let's look at another summer comedy out this week. It's called What About Bob? And this is kind of a psychoanalytic version of The Odd Couple. The movie centers on the two very different personalities and performances of Richard Dreyfuss as an obsessively organized psychotherapist, and Bill Murray as a patient who is so unable to deal with life that he can hardly even leave the house. He covers everything with Kleenex before he'll touch it. Dreyfuss writes a best-selling book about how people can help themselves by starting out with little teeny baby steps. And Murray uses the book to take baby steps all the way to New Hampshire, where Dreyfuss and his family are on vacation. Dreyfuss hates this guy and wants to get rid of him, but Murray finds that the vacation really agrees with him.
I'm sailing! I'm sailing! I'm sailing! I'm sailing!
The more Bob improves, the worse the doctor gets, until finally in his rage he even chokes on some food.
He's turning me loose!
There's one other thing to do.
Honey, I love you. Breathe! Harder, maybe with your knee more. Hit him harder! Jump higher!
The therapist begins to realize that this is one patient who is never, ever going to leave his life.
Why'd you need to kick Bob out of the house?
You think he's gone? He's not gone. That's the whole point. He's never gone.
Is this some radical new therapy?
You see?
The key to the comedy in What About Bob is the contrast between Dreyfuss, who is so neat and fussy and tidy and organized, and he has every whisker so perfectly trimmed on his perfect little beard, and Bill Murray is a human unmade bed. They get laughs almost simply by appearing on the screen together, and Julie Haggerty is a good foil as the doctor's sweet and sympathetic wife. The best news about the movie, I think, is that it shows Bill Murray fully back in comic form. This is his best work since Ghostbusters.
Well, I liked Bill Murray in the picture, but I thought Richard Dreyfuss was way, way over the top, even in that last scene there, where he just starts at such a high pitch and getting angry that he leaves himself no place to go in the development of his character. It would have been much more interesting if the guy had been played a really sharp psychiatrist who starts to be controlled and tries to manipulate Bill Murray and gets, blows it maybe at the very end.
That's what happens in the movie.
No,
I mean, the scene that you're talking to is way late in the movie. What do you mean he has no place to go? That's where he gets to. He starts out very much in control of his anger, very much in control of his emotions, and then only gradually does he completely lose it.
Well, no, my viewing of the picture was that he was angry quite early. Right in the office, no, he's calm and controlled. He can handle this. Very quickly, he realizes the guy is a nut as soon as he arrives at his home. And when that happens, he's angry right at the top.
Wouldn't you be? How would you feel if Bill Murray turned up at your vacation home?
I am not a psychiatrist, and it would have been much funnier if he had played it quieter.
Okay, coming up later in the show, John Candy stars as an Irish bachelor tied to his mother in Only the Lonely. And next, a review of Hudson Hawk, the Bruce Willis caper comedy.
Come to think of it, there is a part of your body that you won't be needing for your next job.
I always did want to sing like Frankie Valli.
Let's go out the back way. Keep those ideas coming.
That's Bruce Willis as a whimsical master thief in Hudson Hawk, an overstuffed caper comedy in which, unfortunately, every character, I mean every character, including the villains, tries too hard to be funny. The result is a well-intentioned movie that tries to be different, but just wears us out. Willis plays Hudson Hawk, fresh out of prison, who, along with partner Danny Aiello, sings his way through a theft of a Leonardo da Vinci sculpture that contains part of an ancient machine that can transform base metals into gold.
And all the monkeys are in the zoo.
Every day you see quite a few.
So you see, it's all under you.
You could be better than you are. You could be swinging on a star.
The song is cute as they try for a sort of Hope and Crosby effect, but then enter the rest of the nutty characters, including a couple of rich weirdos played by Richard E. Grant and Sandra Bernhard, who want to buy the stolen sculpture at auction. Andy McDowell plays a Vatican art expert.
$100 million and one.
Outbid by mine own wench, quelle belle mère.
Don't hate me, baby.
Also after the priceless machinery, a couple of mobsters chasing after Bruce Willis. Nothing, but nothing is simple in this film.
Subtlety is not one of our strong points.
And then there's the CIA, led by James Coburn. Everybody tries to top everyone else in this picture with gag lines. It's too much.
Don't I know you?
The last time you saw me, I was bald with a beard and no mustache. And I had a different nose. So if you don't recognize me, I won't be offended.
My high school science teacher?
Hudson Hawk might have worked if only Willis and Danny Aiello, say, had been the silly ones, and everyone they met was super straight. Also, the whole bit about the Da Vinci alchemy machine doesn't work. The machine looks cheap, like out of some 50s children's film. Hudson Hawk does have some funny lines from Bruce Willis, but this project was ill-conceived, I think, right at the script level.
It was. In fact, it's unbelievable that anyone could have read the script of this movie and thought that it could be produced as a successful film, because every single line starts from zero and gets to nowhere. It's one of these movies where there's no way for the audience to get involved because everything is arbitrary. The speech we just heard by James Coburn, I don't know what that was about. I don't know what it meant, and I don't know why it was supposed to be funny. I also didn't like the fact that throughout the movie, people would jump out of windows, and instead of being killed, they would land in chairs sitting next to somebody who would start talking to them. People turn up coincidentally without any explanation on 2 different continents, to the point where you're just sitting there feeling whoever made this movie was completely addled. There was just absolutely no window for the audience to get in through to get into the story. Well, it's just, we're kept out of it.
You know enough about the history of movies to know what kind of a style they're going for. They're trying to do the Hope and Crosby routine. They're trying to do a little bit of Abbott and Costello, and they're trying to bring in all these kinds of things, and it's too much. It just doesn't work at all. Coming up next, John Candy is a 38-year-old bachelor, and his mother wants to keep it that way in Only the Lonely.
Where are her breasts?
What?
She's got no breasts. Did she have some sort of an operation? What's that?
Prime rib.
When did you start eating yogurt? Where's your Danish?
I'm trying to cut back.
That is John Candy there as a Chicago cop who still lives at home with his mother, and that was Maureen O'Hara in her first screen appearance in 20 years as his possessive, protective mom. And the movie is Only the Lonely, the story of a 38-year-old bachelor who is afraid to get married because he worries about his mother so much. The girl of his dreams works down the street in a funeral parlor. She's played by Ali Sheedy, and she's patient with Candy as he comes up with reasons why she might not want to go out with him.
You're going shopping. You have to babysit for your neighbor's kids, nieces, or nephews.
No.
You're doing the laundry.
No.
You have to lube your car.
No.
You're getting your legs waxed.
No.
When Candy tells his mother he's dating this girl, it doesn't go over very well because she doesn't like anyone who isn't Irish.
She's Italian.
A guinea?
Oh, Ma.
Oh, at least tell me she's not a Sicilian, please.
She is Sicilian, Ma.
Candy decides to take his mother and his girlfriend out to dinner, but that turns out to be a disaster. O'Hara and Sheedy, I think, are wonderful in this scene, enacting a very painful social moment.
Oh, that's a lovely dress you're wearing.
Isn't it?
Well, thank you.
Even though it is a little big on top.
Ma.
Well, it is. You said so yourself.
Ma.
No, that's a problem I have. I'm not really that endowed on top.
No.
You're built like a 13-year-old boy.
Mom, would you please don't start?
It's a joke. I'm trying to make jokes here. I'm trying to lighten things up a little.
Okay.
Only the Lonely was produced by John Hughes and written and directed by Chris Columbus, the same team who made Home Alone. I don't think this movie is going to do the same kind of box office business as Home Alone, but I liked it a lot more. I think it has a great deal of truth and insight in it, and that the 3 leading actors, Candy, O'Hara, and Sheedy, find the poignancy underneath the humor. I also like the fact that the movie made all the characters into recognizable human beings. Nobody, not even the mother, is made into a monster here. They're all people we've met before and we can share their feelings. So I like this movie.
I think that the mother is made into a little bit of a monster, actually. I mean, I think that she's unrelentingly cruel and racist, and I thought that as you looked at Maureen O'Hara's eyes on the screens I watched her, and it was great to see her, I thought, she's smarter than that, and I thought that the mother could have been written with a little more balance here. I think they're onto a terrific story.
Don't you think that there are people exactly like that mother?
No, I think that there are people who are...
A lot of people?
No, I think there are people who are mean, but not comically mean. In other words, they're mean and kind of dull. And I think this is written comic and mean. I guess what I'm saying is, I like the idea of this film a real lot. I looked at those actors and I thought, if this film was written a little more intelligently and less as a cute comedy, I think it would have been a really fine film.
Okay, coming up next, a report from the #1 film event of the year, the Cannes Film Festival. The Cannes Film Festival is the most important event in the annual world of film, and I've covered it for the last 16 years. But I've never seen anything like this year, when Madonna arrived and the French Riviera went berserk. Cannes is famous for the way the surging throngs cheer the arriving stars, but this was the scene the night Madonna arrived at the Festival Palace for the premiere of her new film, Truth or Dare. She walked down the red carpet and the fans went crazy, even before she revealed her idea of appropriate formal evening wear.
Un bustier d'enfer. Profitez-en, sur place, de Madonna, certains n'auront vu que le haut d'un chignon.
The winner of the Golden Palm, the top prize at this year's festival, was for the third year in a row an American film. It was Barton Fink, a weird, macabre comedy by Ethan and Joel Coen, the same brothers who made Raising Arizona and Miller's Crossing, and it starred John Turturro as a New York playwright who goes out to Hollywood in the early 40s and finds himself living in a bizarre hotel next to a man who says he is the common man, played by John Goodman, who was actually not very common at all.
I can show you the wrestling basics in about 30 seconds.
That's all right, man.
Not a bit of it, compadre. Easiest thing in the world.
Turturro won the festival's Best Actor award and also appeared in another major entry, Spike Lee's new movie, Jungle Fever. It starred Wesley Snipes and Annabella Sciorra in the story of an interracial love affair.
Excuse me, miss. Navy order, please.
Yes, may I take your order?
Is this your station?
Yes, this is my station, unfortunately.
Look, you can take my order. Matter of fact, you could have taken my order 30 minutes ago when I sat my black ass in this chair.
Can I take your order?
Excuse me. Do you have a problem?
Yes, I do have a problem, to be honest with you. Fake, tired brothers like you coming in here, that's so typical. I can't even believe you brought her stringy hair ass up here to eat.
Spike Lee was not pleased when his film didn't win the grand prize, and neither was one of the Austrian directors who won a smaller award, walked on the stage, insulted jury president Roman Polanski by calling him a shrimp, and then handed the award back. Controversy like that is part of the game at Cannes. Another annual tradition is the discovery of an unsung new talent. This year, that talent was a 23-year-old American director named John Singleton. Singleton's first film was called Boyz N The Hood, and it told the story of three young men growing up in South Central Los Angeles and the different directions that their lives took. This film was not even selected for the festival's official competition, but if there was one thing the French, British, and American critics seemed to agree on, it was that Boyz N The Hood was the most exciting film in this year's Cannes Festival.
Again, a possible 187 BW at corner of Florence and Vermont.
Stay out of trouble. You gentlemen have a nice evening.
When the festival was over and the 40,000 or so people went back home, the bottom line, I think, was that this year at Cannes, there was a new wave of black American filmmakers that announced itself. Led by Spike Lee, a new generation of directors like John Singleton and young Matty Rich, who made the new movie Straight Outta Brooklyn when he was only a teenager, are making movies about black and white experiences in America that are fresh and honest and discard old stereotypes. The Cannes Festival is where the French New Wave declared itself more than 30 years ago, and this year it was the turn of a talented new group of black American directors.
And we'll review all these pictures individually when they get released throughout the rest of the year. Coming up next, a really strong film from last year, ignored at the box office, but out now on home video. Here's your second chance. Jacob's Ladder was one of the most ambitious films I saw last year, daring to try to get inside the head of a dying man with his whole life passing before him. This film was not a big hit at the box office, but it's out now on home video, and you have another crack at seeing it. Tim Robbins plays a Vietnam vet who is having visions. Robbins believes that these nightmares may have been induced by an American Army drug experiment during his tour of duty in Vietnam. His girlfriend, Elizabeth Pena, is worried, however, that he's just simply going crazy. Together they have one of the sexiest, most real relationships of any movie couple I've seen lately, and the whole film by director Adrian Lyne does a great job of dancing between reality and fantasy. Jacob's Ladder was written by Bruce Joel Rubin, who won the Oscar last year for his original script of Ghost. I think this script, also original, is even better. You might want to check out Jacob's Ladder at your video store. Now let's recap the movies we reviewed on this show. 2 thumbs up for Soapdish, the soap opera comedy with a lot of laughs and good work by Kevin Kline and Gary Marshall. A split vote on the psychiatric comedy, What About Bob? Roger liked the very different acting styles of co-stars Bill Murray and Richard Dreyfuss. I thought Dreyfuss was much too much the screaming Mimi. 2 thumbs down for Hudson Hawk, the irrepressibly offbeat caper comedy in which every character tries to be a laugh a minute at the same time. And a split vote on Only the Lonely, the Irish bachelor drama, with good work by John Candy. Roger enjoyed the picture. I thought the script could have been more smartly written. So, of all those pictures for me, Soapdish.
Soapdish for me too, but Only the Lonely, I think, is a movie that people may enjoy more than they expect to. No kidding.
That's it for this week. Next week we'll be back with Spike Lee's Jungle Fever, fresh from the Cannes Film Festival, and City Slickers, starring Billy Crystal, and the story of 3 vacationing businessmen who don't feel all that at home on the range. That's next week, and until then, the balcony is closed.
Louisiane is specially blended for iced tea. That's why people who like iced tea love Louisiane. Available in regular or decaf. Enjoy a wild, wonderful swing and sing and adventure with the Walt Disney classic, The Jungle Book. Now on sale at a video store near you. LensCrafters In-Store Labs custom craft top-quality eyeglasses in about an hour. 300 stores nationwide. LensCrafters. Rice-A-Roni, the San Francisco treat. Now with 30 flavors, you can serve it every day for a month and never serve the same dish twice.